Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. Uh, I want to talk a little more on refugee types moving. uh, and But this is going to be it's a follow up on this other one, but this is going to be I want to give you an example of how you would do it if you were to move down here where I am in Guatemala. Okay, I and the same this this is the same the same. You'd use the same methods no matter where you would go. Let me see. I would say outside the United States. It may even apply for being inside the United States, but I say I've had requests on how they would relocate down here, so that's why I thought I would make this. And what it is, first, when you are coming to a place like Guatemala, one option you will not have down here, and that is the option to work. You won't have an income that you will be able to make. Now, the exception would be if you have skills that aren't available down here. And legally down here, you won't be able to work. The reason is you will take work from the locals. And besides that, you probably it wouldn't be to your advantage, I'll put it that way, if you're talking about using skills that they already have down here, because it is so cheap. It'd be tough to really do anything, even if you were going to be gardening and grow stuff and try to sell it. You probably won't be able to do it because they'll be able to grow it and sell it cheaper than you would be able to. The exception would be if you were growing different types of crops than they don't already have, a specialty crop. An example, they have the Mennonites are down here, and they, of course, they grow their own food for their own consumption, and they have their own community and this type of stuff. And what they use for a means of income is they have a donut shop, and it's the only donut shop as far as see. Yeah, I think they're the only donut shop. There's bakeries, but in the way of donuts, they got the only donut shop. So they're providing something that nobody else does. That's probably why they're able to get a business going and get it started. So that's why. So you have to have a means of income. Okay, now we're going to talk about the cost of living down here. How can I say this? If you think you're going to come down here by yourself and start a life by yourself, it will probably cost, I'd say, $1,000 a month, and then you'll be able to do it cheaper once you understand what's going on and you get yourself situated. But to get a sleeping room and to get food and just about all the basics. It'll probably run about 1,000, maybe 1,200. And now, that's another thing you got to remember. I'm telling you all this in the way of dollars, in the way it is now. If it's an economy crash and the dollar is gone, it'll be a whole nother way of doing things. I'm not sure how you're going to do it then. Now, in my particular situation, I've got gold and silver. Now, gold and silver isn't really the way to how do you say provide an income. Like I say, people don't understand gold and silver, how it's used, and it's for security is what it's worth. And the thing is, so don't think you're going to use gold and silver and live down here. There's even fewer people down here that know and understand gold and silver than what there is in the United States. And so it's going to be a difficult thing to use gold and silver down here in the way of trying to make a living. So, I'm not quite sure how you're going to handle this type of stuff. But like I say, I'm talking dollars and cents at this particular time. If there's two of you, man and wife, or just two people, you could probably get around or be able to take care of yourselves for maybe $1,500, maybe $1,700 a month. Okay, now, and that's you're using one shelter, and so it's just your cost of food will double. That's why the whole price doesn't double itself. Okay, now the other thing would be if there's and you have to keep that in mind. Now, if you are going to do it like a commune, working together, we talk about strong individuals coming together for a common goal, and you could do like 6, maybe 8 people in one structure, one house. You could rent a house, for that many people. I would say maybe $300, no more than $400 a month. And then now there's the food, utilities. I say where I'm at, the weather's pretty good all the time. We don't even have heaters. We don't have air conditioners. And what you'll be doing is probably you'll get your structure, and as a commune, if you're not familiar with that type of living, it's like what do they call it? Not a hotel, hostel. Hostel, I think, is the way they call it. And in other words, you share the bathrooms. So you might have 6, 8 people with 2 bathrooms, and you'll have a lot of common areas. When I say common areas, these are areas you'll share, and that'll be like, say, washing. You'll have a kitchen. You'll be sharing your kitchen, and this type of stuff. And when you're doing it like that, you're talking maybe with all the food, utilities would be at a minimum because you don't have any heating or air conditioning. So all you really have is the rent, and food would be, those are your 2 main expenses. So we're talking maybe $2,000, $2,500 for 6 to 8 people. So as long as you're working together. So So that's the way to look at it when you're going to be pulling your assets together. Like I say, the thing you would look for is maybe your own private room, bedroom, either as an individual or as a couple, and the rest of your area will be common ground, common area that you'd be sharing with other people. Now, I would suggest that's what you would do if you waited to really close to a shit hits the fan situation. Now, once the shit hits the fan situation happens, I don't know how it's going to work if you're thinking about coming to places like this. I'm not sure how you do it. Now, in my particular situation, it's a little different because we've got a hotel here. So, and at the hotel, it'll be running about $1,200–1,500 a month per person. So, in other words, you would come here for maybe 1 month just to get here and figure out what's going on, and then, like I say, this will give you time to find a structure to rent. I would suggest you rent, not buy. You wouldn't want to buy anything. I don't even buy anything in the United States. So, and the same thing, because of ownership of property, it really complicates things. Now, hello. If you're younger, it may be different. So this would be the type of situation you would really want to make advance movements to, if you're going to go to Costa Rica or wherever. You really need to do all this in advance. You don't want to wait. And like I say, you really need to figure out how you're going to do the money situation. Because like I say, one of the problems is that there's not going to be any dollars. It'll be a new type of currency. How that's going to work, who knows? That's why we have gold and silver. And and I don't suggest leaving the country. I don't suggest coming here. And I don't suggest staying there. And the reason why I can't suggest it, because everybody's got their own particular situation. And it'll be the same thing if you're moving in one place in the United States to another place in the United States. These are all different things you need to consider. This is Mike. NoStressMike.com.